Before you spend the loose change in your pocket, let me ask you something that might completely change the way you look at coins. What if one ordinary Washington quarter, scratched, dull, and forgotten, could be worth thousands of dollars? Not every coin, not guaranteed, but depending on the year, the condition, and a few tiny details most people never notice. Some quarters might be hiding serious money. Every single day, valuable coins are handed over at stores, dropped into tip jars, or tossed into change trays simply because people don't know what to look for. And once they're gone, that opportunity is gone forever. Most people believe only very old coins are valuable. That's a mistake. Some Washington quarters from years many people still recognize could be worth far more than 25 cents if they have the right strike, the right preservation, or a rare mint error. On this channel, we slow things down and look closer. We don't chase hype, we focus on real details that collectors actually care about. Today, we're diving into Washington quarters that look completely normal at first glance, but might shock you once you understand their true potential. So, don't skip ahead, don't look away, and definitely don't spend your change just yet, because one small quarter could tell a story worth thousands of dollars. Today, we're starting a deep journey into one of the most misunderstood and most important years in modern U.S. coin history, the 1965 Washington quarter. This single year changed American coinage forever, and because of that change, some examples from this year might be far more valuable than face value. Stay with me, because understanding this coin could completely change how you look at your pocket change. The year 1965 is legendary in American numismatics. Before this year, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver. They had intrinsic metal value, weight, and a sound that collectors still recognize instantly. But in 1965, everything changed. Rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to remove silver from circulating coinage, and quarters were transitioned to a copper, nickel-clad composition. This decision created confusion, rushed production, and massive changes inside the minting process. When changes like this happen, errors occur. Variations appear. And those variations are exactly what collectors hunt for today. Most 1965 quarters are common, yes, but certain examples could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on what makes them different. One of the first things to understand about the 1965 Washington quarter is that it does not carry a mint mark. During this period, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks entirely in an attempt to discourage coin hoarding. That means every 1965 quarter, no matter where it was struck, looks the same at first glance. This makes identifying valuable examples harder, but it also means that rare pieces often slip through unnoticed. Because collectors cannot rely on mint marks, condition and errors become the main drivers of value. Condition is everything when it comes to the 1965 quarter. A coin that has been heavily circulated, with worn details on Washington's hair, flat lettering, and surface scratches, is usually worth face value. But a coin that has never been circulated, with sharp hair detail, crisp lettering in Liberty, and clean fields, could be worth significantly more. Coins that still show original mint luster, especially those with a bright or satin-like finish, immediately catch the attention of collectors. High-grade examples are scarce because most 1965 quarters entered circulation immediately during a time of extreme coin demand. Collectors also pay close attention to the strike quality of 1965 quarters. Because production was rushed, many coins were weakly struck. A sharply struck coin with full details stands out. Look closely at Washington's hair near the ear, the jawline, and the letters "In God We Trust." On strong strikes, these details appear crisp and separated. Weak strikes blur together. A strong strike in combination with uncirculated condition might push a coin into a much higher value range. Another major area of interest for the 1965 Washington quarter is mint errors. This is where values can rise dramatically. Off-center strikes are among the most popular. These occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. Depending on how off-center the strike is and whether the date is visible, these coins could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The more dramatic the error and the better the condition, the stronger the collector demand. Double strikes are another important category. These happen when a coin is struck more than once, creating overlapping or shifted images. On a 1965 quarter, A clear double strike that shows multiple impressions of Washington's profile or lettering might command a very strong price. Collectors value these coins not just for rarity, but for how visually obvious the error is. Clipped planches are also known from this year. These occur when the metal strip used to create coin blanks is improperly cut, resulting in a missing curved section on the coin. A genuine clipped planche from 1965, especially one with smooth edges and undisturbed surfaces, could be worth far more than face value. The size and shape of the clip directly affect value. Another fascinating area involves transitional errors. Because 1965 marked the shift away from silver, collectors have long searched for coins that might have been struck on the wrong type of metal. While extremely rare and controversial, coins that appear unusually heavy, bright, or different in sound have drawn intense interest. A genuine transitional error, if authenticated, could potentially be worth thousands of dollars, though verification by a professional grading service is essential. Surface quality is another critical factor. Many 1965 quarters show heavy contact marks because they were dumped into circulation quickly. Coins with clean surfaces, minimal bag marks, and no major scratches are much harder to find. These coins stand out during grading and often receive higher grades. Higher grades translate directly into higher value. A difference of just one grade point might mean hundreds of dollars. Collectors also look for proof like characteristics. Although regular circulation strikes were intended for mass use, some 1965 quarters display mirror-like surfaces and sharp details resembling proof coins. These are rare and highly desirable. A proof like 1965 quarter in high condition could be worth a surprising amount of money compared to a standard example. Die cracks and die breaks are another category worth mentioning. These occur when the metal dies used to strike coins begin to crack from overuse. The cracks transfer onto the coin as raised lines. Some collectors specialize in dramatic die cracks, especially those that cross major design elements. A bold die crack on a 1965 quarter might increase its value significantly, particularly if the crack is visually striking and well preserved. Another subtle but important factor is toning. While many people prefer bright silver-colored coins, natural toning can actually increase desirability. A 1965 quarter with attractive, even toning patterns, especially blues, golds or purples, could be more valuable to certain collectors. Toning must be natural. Artificial coloring usually hurts value. Market demand also plays a major role. The 1965 quarter sits at the intersection of history and modern coinage. It represents the end of silver and the beginning of clad coinage. Because of this, collectors from multiple generations are interested in it. Demand rises when collectors focus on transitional years, and that demand can push prices higher for top-quality examples. Grading is often the final step that determines value. Coins submitted to professional grading services are evaluated for authenticity, condition, and errors. A 1965 quarter graded at a very high level, especially with a recognized error designation, could sell for thousands of dollars depending on market conditions. Ungraded coins can still be valuable, but professional grading adds confidence and marketability. It's important to remember that not every 1965 quarter is valuable, most are still worth face value. But the reason collectors continue searching is because rare examples still appear in circulation, collections, and old jars of change. The difference between a common coin and a valuable one often comes down to details that most people never look for. This is why slowing down matters. This is why examining your coins matters. A single 1965 Washington quarter coins are the only ones worth checking. Might turn out to be something special. Might completely change your mind. Error. The 1974 Washington quarter is one of those coins that people spend every single day without hesitation. It doesn't look special. It doesn't look old enough. As we move forward into the next years, it's often ignored. Washington but depending on its condition, more strike quality, and rare errors, most people ignore certain 1974 Washington quarters could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Never underestimate the reason is that might be hiding in plain sight. Most people never stop to look closely enough. By 1974, the United States Mint was producing massive numbers of coins to meet public demand. Inflation was rising. Cash was moving fast, and quality control wasn't always perfect. When mints are pushed to produce large quantities quickly, mistakes happen, and those mistakes are what collectors search for today. While the majority of 1974 quarters are common, a small percentage stand out in ways that dramatically increase their value. The first thing collectors look at with a 1974 Washington quarter is the mint mark. Coins from this year were struck at 3 different mints. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver coins show a D, and San Francisco coins show an S. Each mint produced coins with slightly different characteristics, and that matters to collectors. Some mints are known for stronger strikes, while others are associated with certain types of errors. Knowing where your coin was struck is the first step in understanding its potential value. Condition plays a massive role in determining whether a 1974 quarter is ordinary or special. A coin that has been heavily circulated, with worn hair details on Washington, flattened lettering, and surface scratches, is usually worth face value. But a coin that never circulated, with sharp details and original mint luster, could be worth much more. High-grade examples from 1974 are surprisingly difficult to find because so many coins entered circulation immediately. Strike quality is another major factor. Many 1974 quarters were weakly struck, especially in areas like Washington's hair above the ear and the feathers on the eagle. A coin with a strong crisp strike stands out immediately. When the details are fully formed and clearly separated, collectors take notice. A sharply struck 1974 quarter in uncirculated condition might be worth a significant premium over face value. Mint errors are where the real excitement begins. One of the most sought-after errors from 1974 is the double die. These occur when the coin die receives multiple misaligned impressions during its creation, resulting in doubling on the coin's design. Doubling can appear on lettering, the date, or Washington's profile. A clear double die on a 1974 quarter could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on strength and condition. Off-center strikes are another popular error category. These happen when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. The value depends on how off-center the strike is and whether the date remains visible. A dramatic off-center 1974 quarter with a clear date might command a strong price among collectors. Clipped planches are also known from this year. These coins have a missing section along the edge due to an error during the cutting of the metal strip. Genuine clips have smooth, natural edges and often show metal flow near the missing area. A legitimate clipped planche error from 1974 could be worth far more than 25 cents. Another category collectors pay close attention to is die cracks and die breaks. As dies wear out, cracks can form and transfer onto the coin as raised lines. Some 1974 quarters show bold die cracks crossing major design elements. These errors are popular because they tell a story of overworked dies and rushed production. A dramatic die crack might increase a coin's value, especially in higher condition. Proof coins from 1974 also deserve special attention. San Francisco produced proof quarters intended for collectors, not circulation. These coins have mirror-like fields and frosted devices. A properly preserved 1974 S-proof quarter could be worth significantly more than face value, especially if it shows deep cameo contrast. Proof coins that have been mishandled lose value, but pristine examples remain desirable. Some circulation strikes from 1974 show proof-like qualities as well. These coins were not intended to be proofs, but they display unusually reflective surfaces and sharp details. Proof-like 1974 quarters are scarce and attract strong collector interest. A coin like this might surprise you with its value if professionally graded. Surface quality is another major consideration. Bag marks, scratches, and nicks are common on 1974 quarters because of mass production and storage methods. Coins with clean surfaces and minimal contact marks are much harder to find. Even a small improvement in surface quality can mean a large difference in value when grading is involved. Toning can also play a role in desirability. Natural toning that develops over decades can create beautiful colors on a quarter surface. While not everyone prefers toned coins, many collectors actively seek them out. A 1974 quarter with attractive, natural toning could be more valuable than a plain example in similar condition. Grading often determines the final market value. Coins graded by professional services receive a numerical grade that reflects condition and preservation. A 1974 quarter that achieves a very high grade, especially with a recognized error or proof-like designation, could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on demand. It's important to understand that rarity and value are not always obvious. A coin can be rare because few were saved in high condition, not because few were minted. That is exactly the case with many 1974 quarters. Millions were produced, but only a small number survive today in exceptional condition. This is why so many valuable coins go unnoticed. People assume modern-looking coins can't be valuable, they spend them without looking twice. And yet, collectors continue to find surprises in rolls, collections, and everyday change. The 1974 Washington quarter is a perfect example of hidden potential. Most are common, but the right one, clean, sharp, or carrying a genuine mint error, might be worth far more than anyone expects. All it takes is patience, knowledge, and the willingness to look closely. And as we move further forward in time, the story doesn't end here. In fact, it becomes even more interesting. Because the next quarter comes from a period when minting problems became even more noticeable. And that's where the hunt really begins. By the time we reach the 1980 Washington quarter, many people completely stop paying attention. The coin looks modern, it feels ordinary, and because of that, it's one of the most underestimated quarters in circulation. But here's the truth most people don't realize: depending on its condition, strike quality, and mint errors, certain 1980 Washington quarters could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And the reason so many valuable ones go unnoticed is simple: people assume modern coins can't be special. The early 1980s were a chaotic period for the U.S. Mint. Inflation was high, coin demand was massive, and production pressure was intense. When mints are forced to produce coins quickly and in huge numbers, quality often suffers. Dies wear out faster, mistakes slip through, and collectors today actively search for those mistakes. The 1980 Washington quarter sits right in the middle of this period, which makes it especially interesting. One of the first things to check on a 1980 quarter is the mint mark. Coins were struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver coins show a D, and San Francisco coins show an S. Each mint produced coins with different characteristics, and each has its own group of collectors. Some mints are associated with weaker strikes, while others are known for certain error types. This is why identifying the mint is essential when evaluating value. Condition is once again one of the biggest factors. A heavily circulated 1980 quarter with worn details, dull surfaces, and scratches is usually worth face value. But a coin that never circulated, with sharp detail and original mint luster, could be worth much more. High-grade uncirculated examples from 1980 are harder to find than most people expect, because so many were immediately released into circulation. Strike quality is especially important for this year. Many 1980 quarters show weak strikes, particularly in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. A coin with a strong, crisp strike immediately stands out. Full detail in these areas tells collectors that the coin was struck with a fresh die and proper pressure. A sharply struck 1980 quarter in high condition might be worth a strong premium. Mint errors are where the real value potential appears. Doubled dies are among the most desirable errors from this era. These errors can show doubling on the date, lettering, or Washington's facial features. A clearly visible doubled die on a 1980 quarter could attract serious collector interest and significantly increase value, especially if the coin is well preserved. Off-center strikes are another popular error. These occur when the coin blank is misaligned during striking. The more dramatic the misalignment and the clearer the date, the higher the value tends to be. A well-centered off-center strike that still shows the full date might be worth hundreds of dollars or more, depending on condition and eye appeal. Die cracks and die breaks are very common on 1980 quarters due to heavy die usage. Some cracks are minor and add little value, but large dramatic cracks crossing major design elements are much more desirable. Collectors enjoy these coins because they show the mint pushing equipment to its limits. A bold die crack on a 1980 quarter could raise its value, especially if the coin is otherwise clean. Another category collectors watch closely is planche errors. These include wrong metal strikes, incomplete planches, and improperly prepared blanks. While extremely rare, these errors exist and are highly valuable. A genuine planche error from 1980, once authenticated, might be worth thousands of dollars due to its rarity and uniqueness. Proof coins from 1980 also deserve attention. San Francisco produced proof quarters with mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs. A properly preserved 1980s proof quarter could be worth significantly more than face value, especially if it shows strong cameo contrast. Proofs that have never been handled or damaged remain popular among collectors. Interestingly, some circulation strikes from 1980 display proof-like characteristics. These coins were not intended to be proofs, but they show reflective fields and sharp details. Proof-like circulation strikes are scarce and often overlooked. A coin like this might surprise you with its value if professionally graded. Surface preservation plays a major role in grading. Many 1980 quarters have heavy bag marks because of bulk storage and transportation. Coins with clean surfaces, minimal contact marks, and no major scratches are much harder to find. Even a small improvement in surface quality can dramatically affect grade and value. Toning can also add appeal. Natural toning develops slowly over time and can produce attractive colors. While not all collectors prefer toned coins, many actively seek them out. A naturally toned 1980 quarter could be more desirable than a bright but damaged example. Grading again becomes the final deciding factor. A professionally graded 1980 quarter with a high numerical grade, proof-like designation, or recognized error could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on market demand. Ungraded coins can still be valuable, but grading adds trust and visibility. What makes the 1980 Washington quarter so fascinating is that it's still everywhere. These coins are still found in circulation, rolls, and old collections. That means the hunt isn't over. Valuable examples are still out there, unnoticed, waiting for someone to look closely. Most people assume that age alone creates value. But with coins like the 1980 quarter, value comes from preservation, errors, and small details. This is exactly why collectors never stop checking their change. Because the coin that looks the most ordinary might turn out to be something extraordinary. And as we move into the final chapter, the pattern continues. A coin many people dismiss as too modern, too common, or too boring, yet one that still holds the potential to surprise. That brings us to the last Washington quarter in this series.